Hi there folks, welcome back to another video. This is Don at Affordable Desert Living. Well, today's video is going to focus on insulating the floor of what I call my big home. And projects have been a little slow because I've had some mandatory travel that I had to do and be away from the property. But now I'm back and we're going to get going and hopefully make some progress on insulating the floor. And there are a variety of ways, of course, you can insulate a floor, as a lot of folks know. I thought of, well, I could use that pink batting, but it's real messy. Rodents love to nest in it. The R value is decent, but it's a lot of trouble, and it's not very cheap. This is open cell spray foam. 6 inches of it, super warm, absolutely love it. So I'm going to do it again for the big home. Of course, naturally, I was thinking I could get that same company to spray foam the floor area. I could, but here's the problem. They don't use open cell for the floor. They use closed cell. Closed cell is more compact, really rigid and hard, and unfortunately, really expensive. So I nixed that idea and decided to make another choice. So what I decided, folks, is just to imitate what I did with my little cabin. And I did that with this stuff here. This is 2-inch 4x8 sheets of foam board. And some folks suggested, well, why don't you just take and run sheets of boards underneath the joists and then push the foam down onto those boards. That was one suggestion. Another suggestion was, why don't you take chicken wire and put chicken wire underneath all the joists and then shove the foam board down there. And so several suggestions. In the end, I thought, well, goodness, I have the answer. It's right here. I'll do the very same thing as I did with this little cabin. And unlike the little cabin, I had to be on my back shoving those pieces of foam board up between the joists and then spraying all of the crack filler in there. Real messy, really a dizzying job. Well, with the big cabin, it's a lot easier. I can just do it from the top. How cool is that? So in order to support the foam, I just did what I did before with the little cabin. I purchased a whole pile of these little corner braces, and they work really good. One on each side of the joist. So we'll load up our carpenter apron with these great little 1-inch screws with a star-shaped head on them. And then lots more of these corner braces. All right, let's get to work. And I space them about every 2 feet apart. There we go. We literally have these little micro bursts of wind, like mini tornadoes, and when they grab even heavy things, they can move them. And the only thing that kept this big old heavy bundle from being blown into New Mexico was my famous mesquite tree here. it just stopped it up really good with all those thorns on the branches. Try that again. And of course, I tried to cut each of these pieces of foam board exactly the width of the joist, but of course, I'm not going to be perfect. And of course, the joists are not perfectly straight, so there can be a little bit of gap. So I use this stuff like I did in the little cabin, and it's called Great Stuff. It works well, but it really is messy. You can tell which hand I had the rubber glove on, this one or this one. So I figured I'd left plenty of depth here for that 4 inches of foam to fit in there nicely. Well, I'd forgotten this Great Stuff actually within 24 hours rises even more, like a loaf of bread with yeast. So now, as you can see, it's now going to prevent the subfloor from resting solely on these joists. So that's a problem. So I got this old steak knife I'm not using in the house. It's got a long serrated sharp edge, and so I'll just literally go along here. A little labor intensive, but it's got to be done. I'm going to make sure I do everything I can to make sure that subfloor sits totally flat on the joist. There, and I got a workout too. You know, like those exercises where you take a wheel and go like that? Well, not quite as good as that, but still exercise. So in order to provide adequate room for that foam to swell, it just means I lower these sheets of foam board in every one of these joists. And of course, in order to do that, I have to just lower those corner braces just a bit, maybe an inch, and that should do the trick, and there shouldn't be any issues. And one question might be, why are you using spray foam anyway? Your Styrofoam is in there pretty snug. Well, there's no perfect cuts with this, and insects especially are really good at crawling up in little places. So another reason I use the spray foam in here is it just adds extra rigidity to the whole structure of the styrofoam pieces. Looks like a serious storm coming. Going to be a lot of rain even. And what that means is the valuable wood in that floor can get wet and shrunk and damaged and all kinds of other nasties. Way too expensive not to spring into action and cover that all back up again, even though I just uncovered it this morning. Got to get my energy up. Maybe I should dance or something. Yeah, that's it. Come dancing, that's how they did it when I was just a kid. And when they said come dancing, my sister always did. Come dancing. Oh, and if you know the song Come Dancin', leave it in the comments below. The artist and the year it came out. Timing couldn't be better. Just finished that end. Here comes the downpour. Let's get out of here. Well, building this floor hasn't exactly been all rainbows and sunshine, but it's coming along really well, and I'm really happy with the progress I'm making. So really, really cool. Super, super delighted. A lot of hard work, but it's almost done. I'm leaving these last 2 rows between the joists open because that's going to be my wet wall where all of the plumbing is going to go. But now I'll be able to crawl underneath, work easily around the pipes, and not have to dodge around the insulation, if you get my drift. So now that this floor is now nice and insulated, I can move on to the next step, and that's going to be laying down the subfloor. And I went back and forth, honestly, between putting a plywood subfloor down versus OSB, and just how that would all take shape. So you'll want to tune into the next video and just see what I chose to do, and watch how I lay it all down. So thank you very much, folks, for all your patience in waiting for a new video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when my next video is coming up. And we're going to be moving forward on continuing the building process of this big home. Thanks again. See you on the next video.